Mr. Speaker, body shaming of any woman in any form from the top of her head to the soles of her feet is wrong. Irrespective of her hairstyle, the size of her thighs, the size of her hips, the size of her baby bump, the size of her breast, or the size of her lips, what makes us different makes us unique and beautiful. So, Mr. Speaker, I will continue to rock these braids for 3 reasons. Number 1, because I'm sure you'll agree, they look pretty dope. Number 2, in solidarity with women who have been shamed based on their appearance. And number 3, and most importantly, in solidarity with young girls and women who look like me and those who don't. I want them to know that their braids, their dreads, their super curly afro puffs, their weaves, their hijabs, and their headscarves, and all other variety of hairstyles belong in schools, in the workplace, in the boardroom, and yes, even here on Parliament Hill. Thank you.
Hey, hello, Roger. Good to see you.
Woo! We are back. We are back in the building once again. I love it. My goodness, it's been too long, Alexandre. It's been too long.
We spent the whole summer without doing this.
I know. Welcome to Great Convos, where we always say, whether you agree or disagree, you can always find great convos. I'm Roger Caesar, and that gentleman over there.
Hi, Roger. I'm Alexandre Matte. Well, we're starting a new season, Roger. I'm quite excited. I was going to say I'm excited as you are, but I can never be as excited as you, Roger. How have you been doing?
That. I'm supposed to bring that high energy, my friend.
I'm here to calm you down. So, Roger, how have you been doing?
I've been fantastic. What a summer all around. It's been amazing. Gone to different places, had some opportunities to speak in various places around the world, and I'm really, really happy to be back here now with you, my friend, to do the podcast, season 6. And first of all, I want to say welcome to all of our loyal listeners. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. Please put it in the chat where you are coming from. Say hello. We missed you. How about yourself, Alex?
Thank you very, very well. I've had a lot of family time this summer. I also spent some time in summer camps sharing stories with children and getting them to share some stories as well. Beautiful moments with the kids.
Awesome. Well, listen, 5 seasons, my friend. 5 seasons we have already completed. This being our 6th, and we are starting this off with a bang, man. Woo!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the theme this season is Your Power Has Power. Sorry, I messed it up. Our theme this season is Your Voice Has Power, Influence to Ignite. All about using your voice for change, or at least to express what what you have to say. And our first guest this season is a perfect example of that. She knows how to make an impact with her voice. She is not shy about it. Her name is Celina Caesar-Chavannes. Caesar, that sounds familiar. We'll see if there's any relation. Celina is a best-selling author. She's an entrepreneur. She's a former member of Parliament, and she got in trouble a few times for saying what she believed, and that got her from the government to the opposition benches. Now she continues to inspire by showing us the influence that we can have when we do speak up and when we have the courage to do so.
Yes, sir.
Now, please welcome Celina Caesar-Chavannes.
Woo! Woo! Let me do this thing.
Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, Toronto. Hello, Indonesia. Hello, US. I see people from all over the world in the chat. So, hello, everyone. So good to be here.
Oh man!
Now let's get one thing out of the way. You've got a name in common. There's Caesar and Caesar. Can we just clear that up? Is there
Roger, did you make your bed this morning? I'm tired of cleaning up.
Did you clean up too? Did you clean up your things too? Like
growing up with this guy, having to clean up after him all the time. Yeah, Roger, did you make your bed?
Yes.
I'm gonna call mom.
This is my lovely, lovely sister. To those who may not know, yes, Celina is my sister. And yes, I did make up my bed this morning.
Good. You grew up well.
In 2021, Roger was on the world stage, the World Championship of Public Speaking, and he did quote his little sister and let everybody in the world know that Roger sings much better than Celina.
First of all, let me just clarify that right now. I don't sing. What I do is not called singing. So Roger can sing.
I told you.
Roger can sing. If you want to clear a room really fast, let me use my voice to sing. Otherwise, don't call it.
So let's not do it today, or we can end this episode with a little song.
Well, we could probably do the actual song itself, maybe.
At the end. Keep it for later.
You are the rain.
Oh man!
Sorry.
Listen,
Your listeners want the podcast. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good.
Celina,
go ahead, Alex.
We invited you on. Roger spoke about you a lot, and he said, "Oh, we have to have her on the show." And I said, "Yeah, sure. Let's find a good angle." And we found it. The use of our voice for change.
Yeah.
Now, Celina, you are known for various things, but you really went into the public light when you first became a member of parliament in 2015 in the big red wave when the Liberal government was elected with Justin Trudeau as the Prime Minister.
Yes.
But then you made big waves when you started speaking out against your own government and Prime Minister. What was now you were very new to politics, right? So what was the biggest shock when after you got elected about the reality of politics?
Yeah, I think the biggest shock was that although we were doing some really great things, there were some moments where I thought that the political will to actually do what was right and what was most important for people was not happening. And most importantly, for often marginalized communities that really needed, a federal government to step in long before George Floyd, long before a climate crisis, like long before, we have these sort of really big poly crises, long before a pandemic, there were communities that were really suffering, Indigenous communities that have boiled water advisories, members of Black communities who really needed supports, especially around, healthcare issues or housing or infrastructure issues. So there were like some big things that I thought were happening that when it came time to really put our money where our mouth is, or our political will where our brand was. Remember, we were diversity is our strength and a feminist government. So I thought that was real around an intersectional feminist approach. And it sort of fell flat. And I thought at one point, you know what? If I'm going to be the representation that matters, I need to speak to and do what matters to the people that I represent. And sometimes that means pushing against a government that is really liberal, but is just not doing enough.
When the first cabinet was announced in 2015, the Prime Minister announced this is a cabinet that resembles Canada. For the first time, there was parity, men and women in the cabinet. And the big announcement was, this is the first cabinet that resembles Canada. And your answer was?
No.
See, Alex, you can't do that.
That was the first time I got in trouble. That was my first. I was actually told that was my first strike against me because there was nobody in that cabinet that looked like me. And so what Trudeau said was, this cabinet represents the face of Canada. And so, I mean, that was really disturbing for me to just look at it and not see face. And it was not just that they didn't have Black members of parliament. There were a number of different identities that were not there. And then the second thing that he said that, when he was talking about gender parity is, because it's 2015, he didn't use the opportunity to say, you know what? there's a gender parity in this cabinet because I have picked the strongest, smartest people that are here. He didn't use the opportunity to say that, you know, these individuals, in fact, I could have had all women, a full woman cabinet, because we have some really strong intellectual challengers in this cabinet who are able to deal with the challenges that we have of our time. He said because it's 2015, like just putting 50-50 was like just a window dressing. It was an opportunity where he could have said some things that were really transformative for a feminist government. And he used the opportunity to make it into a hashtag. And I thought, that's not really what I sign up for.
Now, with that being said, Celina, were there opportunities where maybe you second guessed the position that you held, or maybe thought, hey, maybe I got to dial it back a bit at any time? Or were you gung-ho in just going straight forward with your thoughts?
No, I mean, and so this is the thing, and I'm glad you asked the question, because people see the one side and they see the end where Celina, you know, tells off the prime minister and it ends and it blows up and she sits as in opposition. For 4 years, remember, you didn't hear much about me. The biggest thing that you heard was maybe the video that you played at the beginning, and that went viral, and that was just a speech that I did in the House. But there was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of back and forth around, you know, the renege on our promise of first past the post. There was a lot of back and forth with my colleagues and ministers around the tax reform that we did. There was a lot of back and forth with my colleagues when we legalized cannabis, and wanting to ensure that the people that were most disproportionately negatively affected by cannabis possession, meaning Black and Indigenous people, had their records expunged. There was a lot of back and forth about that. None of those things ended up happening. There was a lot of back and forth about this. Was 2021 was supposed to be the last year that we had boiled water advisories in Indigenous communities. They still exist. And so there was a lot of back and forth, pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing to get our government to really commit to the things that I knew were harming people. And so, you know, it wasn't just that people see the end and they say, oh, she doesn't know how to get along and politics doesn't move that fast, et cetera, et cetera. When there is political will for things to move fast, things move fast. Look at the pandemic. Money came out fast. The government moved on a dime. So don't tell me that government can't move fast. Government could move fast when they want to, and when they don't want to move fast, they don't.
Are you saying that politicians sometimes break their promises? I'm shocked.
What? I've never said that exactly. Alejandro, let me clutch my pearls. I would never.
Let me ask you this, sis. Do you feel, when you look back at everything, and especially with the theme and what we're doing today in season 6, do you feel that speaking up, and this goes for everyone in general, because, you know, in today's society, there's a lot of cancellations.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Do you feel that having that voice, letting it be powerful, is still important, regardless of what may transpire afterwards? Do you look back at that moment and say, yes, I think I needed to do what I did?
Let me contextualize this, and thank you, Karen, for your comment. Let me contextualize this a little bit, because first of all, I am the only person who looks like this out of 338 members of parliament. In the 42nd parliament, I was the only Black woman elected across the country, not just in my party, but across in parliament writ large. So out of 338 members of parliament, I was the only one that looked like this. So already you have a situation where there's an incredible power imbalance in respect to not only me as a woman, but me as a person of color, me as a Black individual within a space that has largely been dominated by people who don't look like me. So for me to use my voice in that space requires a lot of mental calculation. So when I say, hey, do I speak up today about this? I need to do the math. And the math is, what are the consequences of me speaking up? And the consequences that I thought of in my head was, if I speak up, especially towards the end, when SNC-Lavalin was becoming an issue and the Prime Minister was bullying our Minister of Justice and Attorney General, the first Indigenous woman to hold that seat, when that was happening, and I decided, do I press send? Do I publicly say that what he is saying is false? I need to do the math. And the math was, Celina, if you never work another day in this country again, are you okay with that? And that was a legitimate concern. And so before I said send, I had to say, yes, I'm okay with that, because I could not work another day, but there can't be a day that goes by when I can't look myself in the mirror and say I did the right thing, because it's better to stand on the right side of history alone than it is to stand on the wrong side. And so true to form, from October 2019, after I left politics, I didn't work. Look at my resume. My resume is dope. I have done some stuff. I didn't work for a whole year after. I could not find a job. And so when you ask the question, is it important? And for you listeners, I'd love for you to read an essay by Clayton Christensen, How Will You Measure Your Life? In that essay, Clayton Christensen says, and it's a great book, a great essay for leaders. In that essay, Clayton Christensen says, it is easier to stand by your values and your principles 100% of the time than it is to stand by them 98% of the time. If you give in to just this once, I'm going to just cheat. Just this once, I'm going to tell a white lie. Just this once, I'm not going to stand up for someone because I may never work in Canada again. Just this once, based on a marginal cost analysis, you'll regret where you end up. And I live with no regrets.
Wow.
Have you always been this way, Celina? Always telling the truth?
No. You got to learn lessons. You got to learn lessons to be able to do that. Have you not read the book?
I have. I was setting you up. I'm just
going to drop the book right now.
Well, I was setting you up, and maybe you can share this. See, here is. Wait a minute. I'm trying to put an image of the book here. Your book is titled
National Bestseller. We have to add national bestseller. So no, I haven't always told the truth. You learn that lesson often the hard way.
And what was your hard way?
Oh my gosh, university. Going through university and, not wanting to disappoint my parents, not wanting to disappoint my family, failing out of first year, failing out of second year, failing out of third year, having to fandangle and concoct my way through. It ended up taking me 6 years to finish a 3-year degree, and nobody knew, nobody was the wiser. And at the end of that 6 years,
you faked some transcript, you pretended that
I faked my transcripts. I did whatever it took so that my parents wouldn't find out. And at the end of that 6th year, I remember just thinking, oh my God, I am the worst. I am so just feeling so defeated. And I remember the morning of my graduation, 6 years later, my mom getting ready and going, okay, let's go to graduation. And me thinking, why would you do that? Why are you going to come with me to graduation? I've just ruined the family name. And it was just a reminder that, you made some mistakes. You've done some stupid things, but you're here and you still need to go forward. Right.
Yeah. And no one knows that more than me as well. So I've done my fair share of that, and we understand that. And I think that's a great lesson to learn, that no matter what, it's almost like the saying that says the past does not determine your future. If you want to change everything, you can change it. You don't have to let your past define your future.
Absolutely.
And with that being said, obviously the kids, my nieces and nephews, but when they look at you and they see what you're doing as a parent, knowing that you said, look, I have no regrets. I am going to stand by my policies, my beliefs, and how I feel about things.
Yeah.
How do the kids see you? And are they also following in those footsteps?
Oh my goodness. My kids are like Celina 2.0. They're brave and courageous, and the things that sometimes like I remember my parents saying they came to this country because they wanted to make life better for their family, right? Many immigrants will have that same sort of experience of coming and making life better for their family. I am here, and so I need to make this country better for my children. Right. And so you expect that they are going to take that lesson and say, I'm going to make this situation better for everyone. And so, the protests that they attend, the messages that they put across, the stands that they take in their own life at such a young age, it's impressive. And I mean, I could say the same for, my nieces and nephew, just like really understanding how this world works. Like, look, I just posted about, Rael going into, a qualified psychotherapist, like my niece, Roger's daughter, working at an organization that really is dismantling the barriers to access around mental health. I mean, I'm a mental health advocate, seeing that happening in real time within this next generation, saying, you've made this country better. Now let's take the baton and make it more equitable. My daughter going into law or into engineering and breaking barriers down, it's phenomenal to see that our next generation keeps raising the bar on something, on a risk that our parents took to come here, the risk I take to speak out and say something. They're taking that risk and doing it better and saying, how can we make this world better for everyone, more equitable, more fair, more just? How can we democratize justice? And this is what we have.
When it comes to speaking up, some people might want to say something, but they don't say it. Not necessarily because they're afraid of the consequences, but because they are not at ease speaking up physically.
Yes.
They're shy.
Yeah.
You describe yourself as a trained extrovert. Tell me about that, and how do you train to be or to become an extrovert?
So let me tie this into a couple of things, and then I want to go back to the people that don't really speak up, because you don't have to. And I'll clarify that. But as a trained extrovert, I said that I deal with mental health. I have, major depressive disorder and anxiety, and I deal with that. And so when I'm out in public spaces, people think, oh my gosh, she's so fierce, she's so this, she's so that. I come home and I actually have to like take the big power switch and boom, shut it down. Because it takes a lot of energy for me to be out and speaking and doing and all this stuff. And then I need to power down. And that is okay. So I want people who are like, how does she do it? How does she keep going? How she has to, and I need to catch up to her, and I need to do what she's, please don't. There's no comparison here. When I go home and I need to curl myself up into fetal position and just cry, or, stay quiet, or you don't see me, or I'm not messaging, Roger knows I don't text every day. I don't message because I just don't have capacity for certain things. And then every now and again, he'll check in. Hey, sis, how's it going? I'll be like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm good. But I just don't have capacity. So I think that that's important. But to tie back into people that aren't are looking at me and saying, oh, I need to use my voice more. That I call this the strategy of disruption. There are some people that are able to disrupt like me by tweeting a prime minister out loud. And then there's some people that say, you know what, I'm going to, in my job, just put a comma differently. I'm going to dot the I, I'm going to cross my T's, I'm going to put a comma here instead of a period. I'm going to do something that pushes a little bit, but within my comfort zone. As long as you are moving forward the democratization of justice, as long as you're pushing forward towards making sure that people are able to live fairly and to thrive, if you do it even in your own small way, That is progress. And not everybody needs to be out there speaking on a platform and tweeting and doing all those things. It doesn't work that way. And if I say, oh, people that are not protesting are, they're terrible people. No, we have to sort of say, okay, what are you doing towards justice? You're doing something small. You're doing something small. You're doing something small. You're doing something bigger. In aggregate, we're making big waves. So there isn't a barometer by which I am better than somebody who is often very quiet in the disruption of justice. And that, Susan Cain's book, Quiet, is one that really sort of speaks to introverts and quietness and how powerful that silence could be.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Alex, I think we're going to have to get a part 2. We're going to have a part 2 because we are up against the clock right now. But my goodness, hey, listen, why don't we do this just to have some fun? Because we've been talking about speaking out loud and everything like that. And I know that for those of you who have heard the speech that I delivered in 2021, you're wondering, is this true about the two of them with the singing? Can we give them a little sample of it just for the fun of it and just have some fun? Yeah, we're going to have some fun. Come on, let's have some fun. Here we go. Baby, you'll find.
Oh my God.
There's only one love, yours and mine.
See, I'm not allowed to sing this part.
Much love. Okay, here's your part. All I want is to.
Oh, I told you I don't sing.
How much I love you, baby.
I don't mind. He never allowed me to sing. He never allowed me to sing.
From what I recall,
it's
your mother who not only allowed you to sing, but told Roger to let you sing on stage.
Yes.
Yeah, but I was only allowed to sing the backup, like the.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
And that was enough to make people cringe, according to Roger in his speech that we can see on YouTube. Is it in you?
Yes.
It was enough to make people cringe. If you want to exit the building early, say Celina, sing something, everybody will go home.
Hey, sis, thank you so much for joining us. We are going to have you come back on the show.
Are we out of time? No way.
We are out of time. I know, but
if you can stick around just with us, we'll have some after convo right here, and we might have extra content for our followers on Facebook or LinkedIn.
Yes. Well, Alex, you want to close this off?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I would like to quote from your book, Celina, which I highly recommend, by the way. Very well written, and it's a nice balance of the personal life of Celina and the political life, one leading to the other. So here's what I want to quote. You see, sometimes we are afraid of what other people will think.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes, why don't I let you give these parting words, Celina?
Yeah, oftentimes we are too busy showing off to our neighbors instead of trying to show up for them. And that's what we need to do, especially now. And we're facing these polycrisis moments, these VUCA, volatile, uncertain times. Let's show up instead of showing off for each other.
Well said.
Well said. And as we always say, as we put the last parting words from our loyal listeners, thank you for joining us today. Again, you could have been anywhere, but you are here with us, and we appreciate you. And we hope that you will take this conversation to your friends, your family, your coworkers, and keep that conversation going.
Yeah.
Do you speak up or do you stay silent? Choice is yours. But I hope that this conversation will allow you to ignite your voice. And as we always say here, whether you agree or disagree, you can always find Great Convos. Season 6 started powerful. Thank you for being with us. Woo!
Thank you, everyone.